This is Chris Hansen.
Chad doing Rip City Radio here.
This is Jamie Hudson.
This is TJ Houshmandzadeh.
And I'm going to let y'all know something.
You're listening to
It Just Makes Sense.
It Just Makes Sense.
We are sports. We are nostalgia. We are pop culture. And we're funny sometimes.
I think overall we're just a good time.
They thought we couldn't do it. But guess what?
We're back.
Podcasts are free, and we can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
We never knew what we were doing in the first place.
Yeah, that is a good point. It's not necessarily like bad. I'm more just annoyed.
That's the quarterback position, though. You get celebrated if you win and you get blamed if you lose. But the thing is, how can he do his job if he doesn't have time to do it?
You know these guys are going to come a lot.
You guys were messing with me.
Yeah, that wasn't true at all.
Who are these idiots?
Well, speaking of locks.
And who are we
Speaking of
to
losing,
call people out on losing bets, okay? We suck at betting.
This season is just going to be a ton of electricity, a lot of fireworks.
Eat your words. Eat your words, Peter. If this is any indicator of how season 4 is going to be, then we're on the right
Best
track.
season yet. He's just looking for a snack.
What do you call a cut of meat that
just a little nibble. I'm not looking for a whole Texas Roadhouse feast. I'm just looking for a little
What do you call
charcuterie plate.
a cut of meat that comes from the lower half of the cow?
A rump roast?
Flank?
Nope. Feet balls.
What?
There's meatballs, and then there's feet balls.
Giving me your brain is fixated on the meatballs.
Rump roast is also not on the lower half of the cow. That's above the legs. That's the
Okay.
butt.
Is it actually?
Yeah. So is a flank is also above the cow.
I don't know. Didn't get what you were getting at. And feet balls is a delusional answer. So
What rhymes with meatballs, but it's just made from the
the feet, I get it.
hoofs.
That's where you lost me because cows don't have feet.
Got him.
What do you call what they walk on?
Hooves.
That's what I just said.
Exactly. You're proving my point.
Cut that.
Hot meat talk. Lit. Wait, you guys heard about the guy who was born without eyelids, right?
Simon Birch?
No.
Different guy.
Great movie, though. Great
Yeah,
movie.
He killed that lady.
Nueva York.
I know he killed Ashley Judd. How dare
Yeah,
he?
that's kinda
She
rude.
was so pretty in that movie.
She was. But what happened?
He goes boobs. No, so he was born without eyelids. They took skin from his foreskin and they attached it to his eyelids for the eyelids to stay in the same skin.
Mm-hmm.
Simon?
No, I don't know his name. It could be, so
Different
we'll
guy.
name him Simon. I mean, the surgery was a success though. But he just came out a little cockeyed.
I knew it. I saw it from a mile away. I knew this was going.
Bring the energy. I'll bring you a cockeyed joke.
Yeah, you can't.
I'll give that a.
You definitely don't see your jokes from a mile away.
I started out
6.4,
well, and then
yeah.
you knew where I was going.
6.4.
So you're welcome.
Let's
Welcome
go back
It
to
Just Makes
Simon.
Sense.
Is what Simon Birch had the Benjamin Button disease?
No, he wasn't reverse aging. He was just like
See, the difference is one of those diseases is fictional, and
That's Benjamin Button's not real.
no,
Interesting.
no.
I think that he thinks it's real.
What did Simon Birch have?
He had like
I don't
some
know.
kind of like dwarfism. I don't know.
Simon Birch.
He was older in the young kid's body. Yes.
No, he was just
Yeah, he was-
small.
Dwarfism resulting in Morquio's syndrome.
Boom. Know your birch, bitch.
Know your birch, bitch. Who was the narrator in that movie? You remember?
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, exactly. Jim Carrey.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
Seems
You
like
only
a role for
know
him.
that because you Googled it.
Bring the energy, Miguel.
Oh, I got energy.
Seriously. Bring the energy.
Woo!
Bring the energy like this guy, Eric Collins.
This is another joke. I'm not buying it.
No. This isn't another
Is that
joke.
Phil Collins' son?
No, it is the end of the UCF Baylor game this past weekend.
Fuck out of here.
It was 36-35 at the time. And here was the call. I believe that it was on 4th down with a minute to go.
This is it for UCF. They're coming after. McClain. Running out of time. What do you got? McClain. He's still on his feet. Oh, my goodness. It's caught. Unbelievable.
Does that change the game?
It did. I mean, it got him a first down, but it turned out that UCF could not convert. But I just love Eric Collins' call.
He's still on his feet. Oh, my goodness. It's caught.
So they worked that hard to convert that and didn't get any points out of it?
And
they
they
lost.
points and they ended up losing.
Loses.
So Eric Collins actually the Hornets announcer, and I was looking up some of his calls from earlier today, and this one with Kemba Walker was one that I particularly enjoyed.
Getting ready for the final shot of the third quarter. It's Kemba fires it and makes it.
Whoop-de-doo! So
That guy's just having a great time.
just loving life,
Who is it?
loving life.
Who is it?
Eric Collins.
Yeah.
We were talking about. I mean, we're all over the place at this point, but we were talking about.
You're all over the place at this point.
You're the one running it.
I know, yeah. I'm just like.
I haven't done shit.
I am just like tickled pink at the idea of you guys balsamic glazing into people's Halloween cauldrons. Rather than giving candy, you just want to give them a nice little wedge salad.
We did have a 30-minute conversation on what food items could we put into children's Halloween bags.
Yeah.
And Miguel suggested meatballs,
Hot and ready's.
hot and
Hot
ready
and Ready's.
pizza slices. But I think the best solution
Consensus opinion.
is wedge salad.
I mean, it is a built-in bowl.
Yeah, it
You
is.
have a built-in bowl
And
or
you
sack.
just tell them to shake the sack a little bit when they're walking away. Give a fork
You're
to them.
glossing over the part that I enjoy the most is when you do the balsamic drizzle. It's the motion.
Yes.
Because you're doing balsamic drizzle one hand, bacon bits on the other.
You've got
Sounds
yourself
incredible.
You've got yourself a condiment belt. You're
Yeah.
just like bacon bits. All right, 1 scoop or 2.
Oh, blue cheese crumbles.
Blue
Oh,
cheese
yeah.
crumbles. Where's those coming out of? A pocket,
shirt pocket.
A shirt pocket.
Yeah.
That's the only place.
That's a stinky shirt pocket.
Yeah.
You got to leave it in there for a few days to really
You do.
get the
Yeah.
stink
Must
of the blue
it up.
cheese.
Must it up.
Must it up, bro. Whoop-dee-doo.
Wouldn't you enjoy? Like I would enjoy that as a kid, like going to a house where you're getting candy from everywhere else. but you
Build your
get-
own wedgie.
Yeah, get something different from a house. Fucking meatballs. They just hand you a toothpick and you're just. That sounds great.
And the kids who are like, I don't like that. Do you have somebody sneak out from the bushes and give them a wedgie?
Oh shoot! Yeah,
I'll do it myself.
Wedgie.
that's the real
That's the
trick.
trick or treat.
That's the trick.
Because a wedge salad is obviously a treat.
Yeah, wedge salad or wedgie.
I think
Brilliant.
most kids don't really get beat anymore. I think it's good for them. I'll just knock them out.
Jesus. Yeah.
Just knock them out.
We just
get beat
we just need to recruit the middle school bully just to
Some
really make it.
rotund kid named Tommy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't need to bully them. Just
Someone who's
knock them out.
Kid is whose parents are mid-divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a swift Canelo right hook.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we can find all.
This has gotten weird.
It has
Yeah.
gotten all really weird.
Clear eyes?
No, so Lindsay and I went down to the Bay Area this past weekend. We went and saw the band Camino.
Ever heard of it?
It's with Jesse Pinkman.
Exactly.
Yep. Great movie.
But for those who, like, the band Camino was awesome. We were not the oldest people there. But, man, San Francisco is rough.
Is that
right
supposed to
now.
be a young band? Like, is
I
that
think
not
they are.
somebody
Yeah.
you follow?
They're a pretty young band. Yeah. They're, like, in their 20s.
When did you start following them?
I think
Too early.
Yeah, I was one of the first on to the band Camino, so they
used to be Hootie and the Blowfish.
exactly. But I think I just quote unquote discovered them. They kind of randomly came on the playlist when I was doing yard work one time, so they were pretty awesome. But yeah, San Francisco,
It's landscape music, huh?
it was angsty music. And then I'm driving up to Tacoma tomorrow to see more angsty music. I'm just a big concert guy now.
Speaking of which, we all three are going to go to some angsty music.
We are, yeah. Oh, my God. We will definitely be the
IJMS Night Out.
IJMS Night Out. We're going to have to record the pod a day early just so that we can go and see a bunch of like 20-somethings bopping around.
How young is this band?
Young.
They're young.
So we will be the oldest people there.
Yeah, if not for the chaperones that exist. Yeah, for sure.
I'll stand
Dads,
like a chaperone.
Dads are gonna come up to us and be like, "So, where's your little one?" And we're just gonna point to the teenager singing on stage.
Yeah, that one's mine.
That's my boy.
Knox, my boy.
Knox, my boy.
Yeah, it'll be fun though. I'm excited.
Dude, I feel like I didn't understand how cool concerts were until like a year ago.
Yeah.
And I just like I had never really gone. Like maybe a couple times at Moda Center, you're like, oh, that's cool. But like to actually go to these like small venues and see people that
They're
you
awesome.
either
Intimate
casually
settings.
like, yeah, or like now to a point where you go, okay, like I saw them because they were kind of cool, but now they're like your favorite bands. You can see them for like $20, and you're like, this is sweet.
Until they get big and they charge you.
Well, right, because Band Camino this time, I think we spent like $200 for the tickets total, plus the whole weekend. But like, had they been in Portland, we would have, just been out $200. But yeah, I think the first time we saw them, it was like, $60 total. But whatever. You see it. You do wish you kind of like were grandfathered into a price, though. It's like, hey, I started listening to you in 2016.
I was here.
Yeah, I was here. Give me the early price.
That's called white privilege.
Jesus Christ.
Especially using a term like grandfathered in, which,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll bet you say
I was hesitant to use that one. There's so many phrases you can't use.
Gotta cut it. No, that would be nice. I know that. Why can't I fucking think of the name?
Knox.
Metallica. Metallica has like a pass where you can pay like $800 and it gets you to every concert that they have.
Really? Like
Yeah.
an annual thing?
Yeah, so for one tour, which they travel all around the world and do it for probably like 8 months out of the year.
Interesting.
I was listening to a podcast with Lars. I forget his last name. Lars something, but he's like the lead guy. He plays the drums.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, we have people who follow us still around and go to every single one of our shows. And it's like, that
Yeah,
is
you
crazy.
cut that kind of deal with your biggest fans. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of deadheads, like
Yeah.
Grateful Dead guys. They go
Yeah.
all around, too.
I'm sure they have some kind of deal as well.
Where would you want to see a concert, though? Like, would you want to go? Would you travel legitimately? If you had, like, your favorite artist and they were playing in Europe, like, would you commit that much money to go and see a concert in Europe?
No.
You wouldn't?
Because honestly, the only venue that I really want to see a concert at is Red Rocks.
That was what I was going to ask, if you've ever seen one at Red Rocks.
No, and that's really the only one that's like super famous that like I really want to go.
I would go Red Rocks in Colorado.
The Gorge.
I've never been to a concert
Gorge is
at the
crazy.
Gorge. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
love that.
Also, the new Sphere in Las Vegas, where
Yeah,
everyone was
yeah.
posting this
My
last weekend.
God, that looked
And
incredible.
then international, I'd want to see a concert at Wembley.
Wembley.
Wembley
Yeah.
would be sick.
Yeah.
I also there's this like big like electronic techno festival called Tomorrowland in Belgium.
Right. Yeah, Tomorrowland is...
I wouldn't mind going to that. It looks, especially if this is a like dream experience. I get like the room with AC and full meal treatment and everything.
Yeah, you are
no
fully committed to it.
Money's not a thing. I would definitely go to Tomorrowland. It looks crazy.
I'm not doing the freaking, what's the one out in the desert now that just went all up in
Coachella.
No,
Burning Man.
Burning Man. That
Burning
looked
Man
like
isn't
hell.
a concert. That's
Oh
not
yeah,
a
it's not even a
musical
concert.
thing.
That's the thing.
It's
That's right.
It's an art gathering.
That's right. I think that's like a huge misconception is that
Yeah.
it's not actually a.
It's not a
It's a
musical
gathering
festival.
of the people.
Yeah, just to like cleanse your
Celebration
soul.
of the soul and the
Group
arts.
orgy tents.
They just walk
Yeah.
up to each other, and be like, "You don't shave your armpits either." Samesies.
Yeah, let's bang.
Yeah.
I guess at Burning Man that there's like no cash allowed. Everything is like bartering system. So you have to like make things to bring and
Really?
like, to trade with people.
My goodness.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I just found that out. I'm definitely going to Burning Man. I'm a bartering dude.
like I have this many Black and Milds.
I'm
That's
not
the
giving-
I
only
have
I'm not giving this up.
70,000 black and miles.
For your Kia Soul.
You have no idea where I'm hiding these right now. But no, I think I've never been to a concert at Madison Square Garden. I think Madison Square Garden would be sweet too.
Yeah, I think it would be cool, but I feel like that would be one of those things where it's like the experience would probably not be like mind blowing, but it's one of those like being able to tell other people that you did it.
Sure. Yeah.
Madison Square Garden would be a sporting event bucket list for me.
Yeah,
not
I'd much
concert.
rather go watch
Like
the
I'd
Knicks.
go
pretty
see
sweet.
even a bad Knicks team just to see the New York Knicks play at Madison.
One
Square
of the best things is not even the game, because the games that I went to where it was the Blazers and Knicks, they generally weren't competitive. There was one that was pretty good. But at the end of the night, the whole place clears out. We're doing our post game. Everyone's cleaning up. And then you've got New York State of Mind, which is blaring throughout the PA system. So it's like echoing throughout this like iconic building. You got the piano going and all kind of, and it is just like one of those core moments that you will always remember as a sports fan is to be able to have that. So
That's cool.
yeah. So I would do that again just to stay in a little bit longer to hear that song. But anyways, hold on, I got it again.
Final shot of the third quarter. It's Kemba. Fire and
All right. Pete
You're
got,
really-
Pete
you're-
got his he got his hit.
So Beavs, Utah, huh? You watched that game?
All right,
I did watch that game on a projector screen. It was wonderful.
When I was going over to Mitch's to watch that, he was like, the Beavs will struggle against Utah's defense. And it's almost like when you watch these teams and you, like on your wedding weekend, you say, the Beavs and Washington State will be a really competitive game, but the Beavers will pull that off. Easy. And they lose. It's like the superstitious thing where you're like, oh, the Beavs will struggle against Utah, and then they take care of them.
Yeah. And it wasn't really even close.
No. The 7 points for Utah and the interception was so unnecessary. Like, that didn't need to be in the stat sheet. That was just them being careless at the end. That should have been a shutout.
Yeah, I mean, I was very surprised how the Beavers bounced back in that game, especially for the dominance that Utah has had. Obviously, they don't have Sam Rising or anything to that effect.
Cam
Rising. Mm-hmm. And my favorite part of that game, which very much Coach Smith went viral for, was his milking of the clock reference.
that he's having to apologize
that he's
for?
having to apologize
What was-
for.
I mean, how offensive is that?
What did he say? I didn't see this.
No, he was doing this as a call play. He was squeezing his tits, milk the clock.
Yeah, so he was
It
doing...
was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Good.
Have you not seen it?
No.
Let me show it to you.
Like the liar Jim Carrey would have made more sense, but he was squeezing both tits like milk the clock, and saw it live. It was fucking hilarious.
I think he may have been saying, okay, milk the clock. You got to milk it. Yeah, that's what that is.
It's great.
Oh, the little smirk on his face. He likes it.
And Jonathan Smith had to apologize.
I kind of
So
like
next
it.
game he just goes,
He may have been saying
Milk it.
a lot. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
You got to just hit the udders, though.
Chill out. It
Hit
is
the
kind of
others.
funny to watch a guy like Jonathan Smith hit you with a
Just squeezing his
squeezing
tots.
his man boobs.
do you start feeling bad for the Utah quarterbacks, both of them, at some point?
I mean,
that was like the Giants Seahawks last night, where the Utah linemen were not able to protect both quarterbacks.
yeah.
It's like they pulled the starter out just because he wasn't playing well, and then he had to go back because the backup got hurt, and then he was just getting hit left and right.
Yeah.
It was like everyone talked about Utah's defense, but you forget the Beavs' defense was also pretty good, and they were back there like all game.
Well, and I think Utah had played a pretty strenuous opening schedule, and to kind of pull out the wins that they did so far, I mean, with a backup quarterback is impressive. But, I mean, that was not the Utah team that I think anybody expected to show
To
up
their
to that
credit, to like, not an excuse, but people kind of underplay the fact that you're going on the road on the short week. You play Friday in Corvallis, where when you go to Corvallis, you're not even staying there.
Right.
You're staying in Eugene. You're in this like remote town. You're playing Friday night, and they had barely recovered from the previous week, so that was a tough environment for them to be in.
Definitely.
But definitely did not show up like I think everybody thought they would.
Yeah, I
Because
expected that game to be
Oregon
a little
State
closer.
handled it pretty much start to finish.
There were a couple of other games that I wanted to at least address a little bit. Teams that had a little bit of trouble. Number one, Georgia against Auburn only covered a touchdown. And then Washington against Arizona. This kind of goes back to what we were saying, one of those like weird fluky types of games where, Arizona's now 3-2 on the year. But when you have a number 7 team, a top 10 team in the nation, to get all you got from an Arizona type of a team, or Auburn, the same thing, and now a 3-2 team, almost dashed the hopes of a couple of
Arizona is
top 10
one of
teams.
those teams. They're like a Washington State.
Yeah.
They can ruin a dance whenever, like every once in a while. They've done it to Oregon many times.
Let's see. I don't think that there were any other. Well, Notre Dame against Duke. That one was a pretty close game. Obviously, Duke's starting quarterback gets hurt right there at the end, which was a big old bummer. The game of the week, I thought, was the Ole Miss LSU game. That one was a fun game to watch. 55-49 was the final score.
Damn.
Yeah, that game opened up at 66.5 over under, and at halftime that spread had changed for the live bettors to 99.5. The game finished at 104 points total.
Damn.
It was wild. And it was just nice to see LSU lose another big game. So no harm in that. I like Lane Kiffin and all that. But yeah, 55-49, it was just back and forth.
Didn't LSU start number 5 in the country, like preseason?
Yeah. I mean, they were definitely
And they're
top
completely
10.
out of everything
they're out
now.
of it at this point. And then the USC-Colorado game, which I thought was very interesting. You get Colorado, which was dead to rights. They end up scoring, the final 28 points of the game unanswered. Made that game a hell of a lot closer than it should have been.
I don't want to discredit Colorado, but that score is not a reflection of how that game actually ended. I think USC let up.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Caleb Smith was kind of just like chucking the ball. They weren't. It's almost like we have this handled, so they weren't like playing. I wouldn't say playing their best, but they weren't focusing on like the little details.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm not sure who, when they started polling guys. I imagine
Yeah, I
up
think
20,
they had a lot of
started
their
polling
second
guys.
string.
So
But still, to let that happen is not good.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be trying to compete for a national championship and run the Pac-12. You do not. I mean, I bet their coach is not happy.
yeah, don't want to let any foot off the gas. I actually, so when we were in the Bay Area, I had no idea that Oregon was playing Stanford down in Stanford when I originally made these plans, and I was talking with Lindsay. I was like, maybe we should stick around for the for the Stanford game, and then I was like, there's just like absolutely no point to like go and actually watch that game.
Yeah.
Had it been a little bit more competitive, I would have like found a way.
It was
to
competitive in the
finagle our
first
way.
quarter.
So,
Yeah, it was.
3-0. Yeah,
And then it was like 7-6 at one point, and then I stopped watching it and I checked the score later. It's 42-6.
Yeah.
Like, all right, they turned it
yeah,
on.
we're good. We're good. So yeah, I was considering a quick change of travel plans, and
To go to a sleepy
To go
Stanford
to a
stadium
Stanford
where they're going to
stadium.
get blown the fuck out.
yeah, that was all of the competing factors because
Everyone's
the farm,
just doing homework while they're watching the
it
game.
is such a boring place to watch a game. No lie. Tailgates are incredible because of
At Stanford?
Yeah, well, not because they're like exciting or lit, but because everyone has the most expensive RV, and they're all like have like the super catered things. Everything's the nicest version of because of how much money is with that alumni, and it's all kind of like within these trees and everything too. So it's kind of like a cool format. However, yeah, it's not like crazy. It's just nice. Either way.
Boo.
It's all garnished fucking tailgate food.
So much
There's
parsley.
a lot. There's so much parsley.
So much parsley.
Yeah, little leaves of cilantro.
Everything's being brought to you like a barbecue competition.
Yeah.
Bringing
I hate that.
running. You
I
got
hate
number
that.
1 for your pulled pork.
We just finished week 4 of the NFL, and I wanted to start off with the main thing that everyone was talking about coming out of the weekend.
Discussing what a lock really means.
Yeah.
Apparently,
You know
we
what?
don't know. We need to address that.
I will give Braxton a touch of grace here because we are.
Was I the only one?
You're the
You
only
were
one
the
who
only
fucked
one.
it.
And you got screwed majorly because Deshaun Watson was out. So we made that bet, and
I'm sorry.
Watson
no,
was.
we can't let him off the hook because of Deshaun Watson. He let emotional fandom get in the way of what a lock is.
And what
The
did I
other-
say right before? I really want to go with Washington
The Commanders
to
to
cover
cover
against
against
Philadelphia,
the
and
Eagles,
you
yeah.
guys both looked at me like I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah, and the Rams also ended up covering, and I think that was one of your two.
I was going to go with
Yeah.
the Rams. I
With
thought
the
the
Rams,
Cowboys was
yeah.
safer, which it was.
it was. So we could have gone with any of those, and
Darn. Well, we're getting closer.
we're getting closer. We're now
We're
2
getting
for 3.
closer.
We're now 2 for 3.
We're not counting it that way. We're a team.
Yeah,
We're not doing individual. Oh, I got 3, but you got. This is a
No,
collective unit.
out of us 3, we got 2 for 3. Before, I think we had only gotten 1 for 3, then 2 for 4, or 1 for 4, and then we got
now
2
we're
for
2,
3.
yeah.
We're improving.
We're improving, but we're
So
still
we're
losing.
0 for 3
0 for
total.
3, yeah.
So we didn't do this week 1.
Correct.
How is our division winners trending?
Not good because Joe Burrow.
Not good, Bob.
We got
Not
Cincinnati
good,
in that
Bob.
division.
We got Cincinnati winning that. That's gonna absolutely kill us because now they have lost their 4th game.
Are the
losing
Jags
Tennessee
safe?
Titans. I mean, like it doesn't. I think no, they're not safe because the Texans are looking good.
Who'd have
But
thought?
What? Why do we bet?
We should have done a round robin bet on that. That's what we should have done.
I still don't.
I
even
mean, when you
understand how
know
that
that the
works.
odds are like $60 pays 11,000, you're obviously.
But
know,
you still
shot
get
in the
you
dark
still get
anyways.
that chance with a round robin. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about
workshop it.
We'll workshop it. We'll have our week 5 locks of the week coming up.
dude, there's no such thing. as
So
a
we
lock
are 0 for
anymore.
3, but Travis Kelce is now 2 for 2 and having Taylor Swift.
Who
at his
gives
games.
a fuck? I'm getting sick of this.
And so that's what I wanted to talk about very quickly. Maybe not very quickly. I'm wondering if the NFL has gone too far with Taylor Swift and whether or not what is going on between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift is a marriage of convenience and a PR stunt.
But why are people complaining? What is it doing that's ruining it for the sport or the?
Because what ended up happening after that game in a very clutch situation on Sunday Night Football is that there was a controversial call against Sauce Gardner that extended the Chiefs' drive, which then, on the final play in which sealed the game in which Patrick Mahomes goes and runs for a first down. There was an obvious hold call that was missed. Then after the game, the NFL now gets into their bios and goes, hey, the Chiefs are now 2-0 as Swifties, and they're just leaning into all the Taylor Swift magic, and people are saying, is this possibly the Taylor Swift effect altering games?
She's just an easy one to blame because she is garnering so much attention, but how is that missed call different from the NFL?
Because she's now attached to it.
Because she's just an easy scapegoat.
Right.
Because she's around. But NFL miss calls all the fucking time for the Chiefs of all teams.
Here are my 2 reasons that I'm getting sick of it. Reason number 1 is they're just giving it way too much attention. We get it. Let these people fucking live their lives. She's a big superstar. Guess what? Big superstars go to NFL games all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. We don't freak out about it. You're kind of just using her and her notoriety to get more followers to the NFL. And I get it. That's business, but it's just fucking annoying. The second thing is the ticket prices to these games that the Chiefs are playing, and it's well known that Taylor's attending, have skyrocketed in value. And it's making it very hard for the common man and woman and child to go to these games. And I think that's kind of fucked up.
I don't think it changes that much.
They cut away to her 17 times during
Too
Sunday
much.
Night Football. Isaac Pacheco runs for 50-plus yards. They cut to Taylor Swift. I mean, they didn't even have anything to do with Travis Kelce. He didn't even score in that game.
It's just a little much.
I think
Let her
that
live.
they are using each other mutually. And this is more like the NFL at this point, the NFL and Taylor Swift. Because guess what is happening in about 2 weeks from now? Her Eras Tour movie is coming out. And guess who produced the Eras Tour movie? She did. She has no budget in order to be able to promote this. Usually if
She has money concerns for sure.
yeah, but I mean, it's like if you're looking for the organic media type of a thing where she doesn't have to pay any money for it, you're talking about a movie studio which will back all this advertising and everything. But she actually produced it herself. So she's got no quote-unquote advertising dollars per se. But the organic side of things, then she brings along Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Guess what? Deadpool 3's coming out soon. Oh, but, conveniently, Blake Lively's a friend of Taylor Swift, so...
That kind of that's battling with the point that you guys are making and that you're making, though. It's there's a reason why she's getting so much attention because her name is that big, whether you like it or not. And
the NFL's getting millions more viewers because of it.
But to say that she wants that organic following, which is why she jumped on board with the NFL, you really think she needs that for the movie to blow up?
I think that it helps.
Well, no shit. But her name is so big, she has such a huge following that with or without the NFL, that movie is going to break fucking records.
It's still going to make possibly
Everyone
more.
who went to the tour will see that movie. People that couldn't make it to the tour will see that movie.
But is it possible that now the significant other goes? That maybe they wouldn't have gone before?
Here's the
No,
thing.
because this is the take of every significant other.
Here's the thing. Taylor Swift is doing more for the NFL than the NFL is ever going to do for Taylor Swift. She has literally 100 times more followers.
And probably money than Travis Kelce.
And just
anyways.
on Instagram. The NFL page has 3.8. She has 383 million.
And that's clear from the first game. What his jersey sales going up. And
Yeah.
the tickets, that's obvious. I just don't. I think people that are always looking for something to complain about. I don't think this is doing anything bad.
I don't.
Who gives a shit?
I think it's not necessarily bad. I'm more just annoyed. The point where it's Isaac Pacheco scores. We're not watching the team celebrate. We're watching Taylor Swift. So it's we're here to watch football. Come on, we get it. She's there.
Yeah.
There's to me, it's nothing different than every season because there's always someone that we're not gonna like. There's always something we're not gonna like. Before Taylor Swift, it was Tom Brady. Everything was about
Jackson
Tom Brady.
Mahomes.
Before that, it was Jackson Mahomes. Before that, it was Aaron Rodgers. There's always somebody that takes the spotlight away from the actual game. And
But those are players in the game.
still, how many people do you? At one point, we even said there's too much Tom Brady coverage. It's like, why is everything about Tom Brady? I'm tired of talking about Aaron Rodgers, especially Jackson Mahomes and fucking Mahomes' wife.
Yeah,
It's
I can get that one.
There's always something.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift's an incredible marketer. Her team's very good at this, and I imagine that she got
Espionage.
free inventory because, like, right out of commercial break, she was the first commercial as well to promote the movie. They're a master class in marketing, is whatever she does. What was not to be overlooked was actually the play of Zach Wilson in the Sunday Night Football game. He actually outperformed Patrick Mahomes statistically. I thought this was interesting. That he, let me read you this stat here. That Zach Wilson is the only opposing quarterback to have more completions, passing yards, more touchdown passes, fewer interceptions than Patrick Mahomes in a Mahomes start college or pro. So that's out of 127 starts, and he still lost. So
Not going to take anything away from Zach Wilson, but is that Zach Wilson playing great or the Jets defense being for real?
But I mean, like, the Chiefs really rattled off. I mean, they scored 17 in that first quarter. They didn't look for real in the first quarter.
I think it's both. I think Zach Wilson played probably the best game of his career. And to outplay Patrick Mahomes is a feat. But I think being able to hold the Chiefs to only 30 or whatever, 33 or what was it, 36 did they score at the
23-20 was the final score.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought it was 33-30 for some reason. But to hold them to 23 is pretty impressive. Especially because they had a lot of opportunities, obviously, to score, and they converted on turnovers and things like that. So,
Well,
I'll give it to them.
The Chiefs had the opportunity there to cover the spread. Patrick Mahomes really pissed off a lot of bettors there with his slide at the end. Me as a patch, I still won my fantasy because I was up against Lauren this past week. Woof. We should talk about that one. Is that so? 96% of the bets, 84% of the money was on the Chiefs at -8.5. Had Patrick Mahomes gone in for that touchdown, they would have covered that 8.5.
That I love that so much with how betting is so out in the open now that one slide either killed you or made you rich. That it's so incredible to me that's like out in the open now. Everyone talks about it. The play-by-play announcers are like, he slid and they didn't cover. So that either made you a fuck ton of money or it ruined everything that you bet on.
Lots of, yeah. And, like, is that the right play in that moment? That's obviously, like, the right football
it is
play,
absolutely
right?
the smartest play.
Yeah.
If you're thinking from a better standpoint, then you fucking hate it. As if you had him -8.5, but you wouldn't question that was a smart play because that ended the game.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, like, up 9. Well, I guess, like, potentially you could miss the
anything's
field
possible
goal.
in the NFL. Like, you would have given them the ball back. You're up 10. They would score quick, doing onside, and then all of a sudden they're in the game.
Sure.
Just end it.
Leave it in your hands for sure. I get that. Week 4, other things that we learned, and I will pose this question to you. Is Daniel Jones very bad? Or is the offensive line for the Giants very bad?
Line. I'm not putting that all on Daniel Jones.
Now, 1-12 in primetime games is Daniel Jones.
That's the quarterback position, though. You get celebrated if you win and you get blamed if you lose. But the thing is, how can he do his job if he doesn't have time to do it?
Sacked 11 times. It is the third most in a regular season game, or tied for third most. The Giants actually, coincidentally, own the league record at 14, which they set back in 1952. But, yeah.
He's having to do everything back there.
Yeah,
Like,
no Saquon.
No Saquon. Matt Breida is fine, but he had more receiving yards than he did passing yards, or rushing yards, just from the short dumps.
But when you have a line, I mean, we've all seen some clips where you're immediately hiking the ball and people are right there in the backfield. It is just incredible how, like, what can a person do? What can a
untouched.
person do?
It's like these guys like don't even see him coming. It's like as offensive linemen, you got to put a hand on somebody.
I think a telling stat where you might be able to side with it's not all of his fault is look at his rushing yards. I mean, he has to survive, and he would get, I think he got 30 or 40 rushing yards just to...
He definitely broke out a number of times just to try and extend the play. Let me look up here.
He has no other choice.
Yeah, so against the Seahawks... Hold on. Sorry, one moment.
Like he had some long rushing yards, long runs.
Rushing. Yeah, so on Sunday Night Football, or Monday Night Football, excuse me, 10 carries for 66 yards.
That's a
Long
that's a
17.
telling stat to not be protected, and he's able to go and create 66 yards out of nothing because he can't have enough more than a second to find receivers.
Yeah, Brian Dable did not seem too pleased with his quarterback. But, I mean, like, again, it is easy to point that finger where you go, oh, do they have a Daniel Jones problem? 4 years, $160 million. And it's right after, right? And this was, I would love to get $160 million for the next 4 years, albeit hopefully they at least get some protection for me.
If you, and like we've covered before, if you're offered that much money, who are you to turn it down? You're not going to question it because they know what they're doing. But I bet if you asked Daniel Jones 4 months ago, hey, will you take a little bit of a cut so we can protect you? I bet he'd fucking say yes. Like it's not like, oh yeah, give me all the money and then we'll just lose. Like same thing that they're saying about Joe Burrow. First of all, he needs to sit. Joe Burrow's forcing the play, and he can't fucking play.
Right.
He's doing that thing where, like, I'd rather be out there, but you're more of a detriment to your team right now because you can't fucking move.
Yeah.
Yeah, throw Trevor Siemian back there.
He's with the Jets.
Yeah, Simeon's
is?
now with the Jets.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
I know. But, yeah, I mean, the Bengals are just a hot mess, too, when you look at that. I agree. Like, at 1-4, like, do you just say...
No, dude, sit for a few games, get healthy, and then come back and be the Joe Burrow that we know you can be.
But is it too late to do that? Like,
No, it's week 4.
Well, right, but I mean, they're now 1-3, 1-4?
1-3.
1-3. Okay,
yeah.
so they're 1-3. And say they lose the next 2 games, now you basically have to win almost every single game in order for you to be a playoff team or win the division. Especially with like Miami and the Bills. We'll talk about that game here in a second as one of those teams being a wild card team.
I think you would put your team in a better position playing somebody back there that's not hurt. You'd have a better shot at winning while he's getting healthy instead of forcing it just for the off chance that you can make the playoffs, but he's playing the whole way and he's playing hurt.
And I think they played like the Texans or the Patriots in one of these upcoming weeks. It's like you can afford to maybe sit that out.
Who's their backup?
Jake Browning is their backup Washington Washington rookie. So we got that guy. But yeah, in their next, let's see, we've got Arizona, Seattle, San Francisco, Buffalo.
Oh, Arizona. No,
Sit out Arizona.
Yeah, sit out Arizona.
Right now,
Maybe
the
sit out
Bengals
the
only
Niners. You're not going to beat them.
Seattle.
Only a 3-point
They have
favorite.
Seattle after that. Maybe sit out Seattle.
I mean, yeah, if you have to like sit out the next 4 games and then go into Houston, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville,
I just
Indianapolis.
think they have enough star firepower that Joe Burrow doesn't have to force it. Because if you tell me that Joe Mixon averages 2.5 yards a carry, just hand him the fucking ball. And then once shit opens up, find Jamar Chase. You don't need to force your star quarterback to play.
Yeah. I mean, give him at least 2 weeks. 2 weeks of rest. Get him back out there. You guys will be just fine.
I do think that I don't know if you guys saw the Jamar Chase comments over the weekend. He was talking about how he's always fucking open and all that. And I didn't necessarily think that was a slight on Joe Burrow. I just think that was him saying, I'm just always open. That was like a confidence thing.
I think that's just him being frustrated with how their season is going.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a shot at Joe
I didn't think
Burrow
that
at
was a
all.
shot at Joe Burrow. But there were a lot of people who took it as that.
Well, media.
Yeah.
Media.
Surprise,
Trying to drum it
surprise.
up. Surprise, surprise.
Meatball eating motherfucker.
Meatballs. Speaking of meatballs, not a good transition. The Bills and the Dolphins. This one was probably the game of the week that we circled.
Most underwhelming fucking game.
What an underwhelming wing. You had everything going into it. The high-powered offense of the Miami Dolphins looking unstoppable. And now
I was
everything
expecting this to be the LSU Ole Miss, like, touchdown for touchdown.
Right.
49 to 42.
And at first, in the first, probably 2 or 3 possessions of each team, it was a slugfest, right? And then finally the Bills got a stop, and then the Dolphins couldn't stop. And so then it was like the Bills just kept on their momentum. But then finally the Bills defense felt it. They were without Jordan Poyer. It was cool to see DeMar Hamlin active in this game. But the Bills now, all of a sudden, what a difference a game makes, because now you have a favorite in Josh Allen to win the MVP. And then you have, the Bills looking like a certain team. When in week one against the Jets, we were not speaking that tune.
My buddy Kevin, who is a
Not a real person.
P1 listener, so shout out to Kevin Anderson, is a huge Bills fan. And he did say before this weekend, after Miami dropped 70 on Denver, Bills by $1 billion on Sunday.
Thought it was going to be a letdown.
Yeah, he said there's no way it's going to be close. Naturally, he texted me right after the game.
Yeah, thanks for that insight, Dick.
The Bills are good. So is Miami, though. I don't think this takes a lot from Miami, especially coming off of a big win, like you said. But the Bills are good.
And I do want to be fair, because
look
I'd
past
like
them.
to point out when you guys have bad takes, I will confess to my bad take at the beginning of the season. I was not a CJ Stroud believer. I said
now you're a Stroud boy.
I'm not a Stroud boy, but I said he's going to fail, from the get-go.
CJ
And
Stroud.
he has proven everybody wrong.
Yeah, he's solid.
I just did.
Solid as
I
a
thought
rock.
Bryce Young was going to have a better season than. Naturally, Bryce Young is injured, but I didn't
Right.
expect CJ Stroud to come out firing like this.
I think that there's a number of things that Stroud is doing well. Obviously, one of the, he's got connection with Nico Collins. He's got, good, decent.
Dell.
Yeah, Tank
Dalton
Dell.
Schultz.
Dalton Schultz. How about
Never
him?
heard of him.
Never heard of him. He's got and they're somewhat balanced, right? I haven't necessarily looked at their splits or anything like that.
Damian Pierce is a solid running back.
But one thing that I saw too that was interesting was just kind of the camaraderie that it sounds like he's building with a lot of his teammates. He's hosting nightly dinners at his house.
That's
It's like
nice.
having guys there, so it's kind of one of these things
is he
where
cooking? Is it catered?
no, they're always they're probably always having someone cooking for him.
Who? Private chef or is
Oh,
it a
yeah.
restaurant?
Yeah, probably a private chef. These guys all got private chefs.
Yeah,
You think
he's got the
local out of
money.
Houston,
Or he's hosting team dinners, and it's just everyone bringing their sack lunches from the practice facility or
Potluck,
whatever.
maybe?
Potluck.
Maybe.
You think the private chef is a local Houston chef?
Hopefully not, because then those guys would be fat.
Lineman.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, I
What
thought.
do you think they're eating?
Oh my god,
Meatballs?
meatballs,
With or without
pulled
cheese
pork?
inside?
pulled pork.
Hot and Ready's? How many Hot and Ready's do
Dude,
you
Hot
think
and
they
Ready's
get?
is an exclusively
way-
West Coast thing.
What's the wedge salad situation?
They don't have that shit in Texas.
Do they put it in a bag?
How about a cauldron? You ever eaten a wedgie out of a cauldron? CJ.
What
Stroud boy.
would raw garlic cloves ruin a wedge salad?
Raw garlic?
Like it's just wedged in there,
Like
everywhere?
big boys?
I see what you did
Not
there.
chopped up at all.
No,
Yeah, that
I
would
think they
ruin
would ruin it. Yeah.
Yeah.
same.
it. Yeah.
Let's move on from the wedge, huh?
Moving on from but yeah. So, anyways, what I'm saying from that is I'm not guys who are connecting, having that nice camaraderie with teammates. I think is good, especially when there's a lot of young guys on that team. They're all kind of in it together, High School Musical style.
Yeah. It's just incredible to me, and I think it's more so at the professional level. I think it's important in college too, obviously, but at the professional level, because everybody's getting paid, like having that culture and camaraderie, like you're mentioning, like does so much for a team. Especially like if you're a really good team, like that's kind of one of the things that can take you to that next level. And if you're like the Houston, who are kind of an average team, it can make you pretty frisky, as they have been. And it seems like they're having fun. They get along. They're obviously connecting on the field.
Rookie head coach.
Yeah, I kind of love it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the same, maybe not to the same exact degree, but I think the Colts are doing that too. There's some sort of like Anthony Richardson and like Michael Pittman Jr.,
also a new coach.
Yeah, like good friends. They hang out all the time. I think the team is doing some bonding, and the Colts have won some. Like they were not as bad as we thought they were going to be.
And Jonathan Taylor could be coming back in the next 2 weeks.
I wonder what that will do.
They could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Wonder what that will do.
It's basically the first 4 weeks have absolutely turned upside down. It's like people we thought obviously with some of the exceptions, but some teams we thought were going to be good are not doing well. And the teams we didn't pay attention to are over 500, and they're beating good teams. Houston, Indianapolis. You have some of these guys like Jags. They don't look as good as we expected them to. Cincinnati, obviously, huge letdown.
Yeah.
Rams out of nowhere, fucking doing well.
Yeah, the Buccaneers.
Yeah, you've got the Bucs who are leading the division.
I think heading into the season, like I thought the Rams were going to be such a mess. Like I don't know who's in their backfield. I can't name a receiver outside of Van Jefferson. All of a sudden, Puka Nacua is Tutu Atwell is coming out. Like, who the fuck are these guys? And they're beating everyone.
Yeah. All without Cooper Kupp. He's also, it sounds like he's going to be back soon.
Yeah, he's going to be back.
Speaking of, you were talking about bad takes within. I will live up to yet another bad take. And
By
I
yourself?
feel like, yes. And it is one of those where he probably listened to the podcast, so he heard me say it, and he heard me say that he was bad. And that was Justin Fields. And Justin Fields, after me saying, I think he might just be bad, proceeds to go out and have a career day.
Career day.
I mean, they still lost.
The greatest day. Yeah, but that I don't necessarily think that was his fault. But Justin Fields, 4 touchdowns, something like that. It was a
fantasy quarterback for 2 leagues.
Yeah.
I needed him to be back to his old self.
Yeah, so he looked good, but then it was like an absolute collapse by the Bears, and it just goes like, I mean, is this what we need to do? Do we just, every time they get up big, we just need to, like, put a ton of money on whoever else? Like, I don't know what the odds were,
Well,
but I
I'll
imagine
tell you
it was
what,
huge.
We were just talking about the Houstons and the camaraderie and the culture. The polar opposite of that is the Chicago Bears. I just feel like everybody on that team looks so unhappy and so uncomfortable.
There's the Chase Claypool thing going on now.
That's weird.
Same with Denver.
Yes.
Denver's also in that boat.
I feel like Sean Payton is a scary dude.
Yeah.
Like
I
as
think
as a boss, I bet he's terrifying.
It's weird. It doesn't affect me because I really don't give a shit about him or any of the teams that he's coached. But he was such a revered with the Saints. That's why people were excited that he was jumping to Denver.
Right.
Now it looks like he's a fucking cancer.
Yeah.
Like,
And a
Judy's
dick.
not happy. Cortland Sutton's not happy. Javonte Williams is not happy. Russ is, who the fuck knows what Russ is thinking.
Right.
But they're in that same exact boat with the Bears. Like, all of those guys look fucking angry.
How come we're not talking about how weird it is, and I'm sure other people have, how weird it is that Vance Joseph is just, like, back with the Broncos? Like, he was their head coach for like a season, and then now he's just back as the defensive coordinator, and we're just like all supposed to be like, this isn't awkward at all.
He just went on a sabbatical.
And didn't they say that he they're like, oh, he got a promotion?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure like the team like released a statement being like, because people were like, what's his position within?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, he got a promotion. He's the defensive coordinator.
It's like, yeah.
What?
It's so awkward. You just can't do that. You can't bring him back regardless of. So, the Broncos are just a hot mess too. I'm just kind of wondering like who is the biggest hot mess at this point.
dude, Denver's up there.
I mean, I think it was the battle for the hot mess award between Denver and Chicago, and I think Chicago won.
Well, I think that the Raiders are right up there too, though.
That's true, especially with Jimmy G going down.
Yeah. I mean, like, right, you guys, I don't know if you saw, but the owner of the Raiders is just, like, screaming at, people are yelling at him in his suite, telling him to fire Josh McDaniels, and he's yelling back at him and all this other stuff. It's, he's kind of blindly defending Josh McDaniels, too. But he's just kind of bad. Matt Canada with the Steelers right now, the offensive coordinator, is apparently, like, making burner accounts with his, like, official Steelers email that people track down, and all of it is just defending Matt Canada tweets.
What a name.
That's like robbing a bank wearing your company's hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not me.
It's not me.
Didn't Ben Roethlisberger speak out against him too?
Did he?
About
I didn't see that.
Yeah, about the play that he called that got Kenny Pickett hurt. And he's like, that was one of the worst calls to put your quarterback at risk, your starting quarterback that you rely on. And
he's calling, like, crazy inside handoffs on 3rd and 10 or something like that. It's like, come on, man. Dial something.
It's kind of weird time in sports. Fans are way too involved.
Yeah.
There's so many fighting. There's a lot of fights happening. There's these guys all over social media. Like, it's fucking in the middle of the season. Stay off of social media.
It's not even the middle of the season. It's the first quarter of the season.
Why are you needing to, like, communicate with fans who are going to criticize you no matter what? Like,
for sure.
Delete your account. Freeze it. Don't be on social media talking to people.
Yeah, it's very much an overreaction. But there was another clip that I saw over the weekend,
Dude,
which
this
was
is stressing me out.
which was of Nathaniel Hackett calling plays for the Jets on Sunday Night Football, and I think that I know he thought that it was 1st and 10, but it was really 3rd and 1. So he thought he got the first down, so he makes this play call. And then he goes, you can see his mouth going, it's 3rd and 1? Motherfucker. Because he just called a 1st and 10 play call. I was like...
Well, 3rd and 1, 1st and 10 could be a very similar play.
You got to get 1 yard either way.
Either way, you got to get 1 yard. You got to get
3rd and 1, you call Hail Mary. Then
everybody
go deep.
They're not expecting it.
Just
all verts.
All verts. Streak down the sidelines.
Oh goodness.
That's a no. Yes.
Yes.
That's a Steve Kerr reaction whenever Steph Curry has the ball. No. All right, good.
All right, that's it. WhoopDeeDoo.
Oh goodness.
Anything else from NFL Week 4? Because I wanted to make sure that we touch on the Damian Lillard trade, even though it's a little bit late, but it's relevant.
I just want to say, being a Browns fan this season has been the biggest roller coaster ride, from coming out strong against Bengals, fucking Nick Chubb dies.
Yeah.
Week 3 comeback. Deshaun Watson has the best game as a Brown. Deshaun Watson out. We lose to conference rival. So I have no idea what's going on.
Another frustrating thing too with the Browns, and I get that you have to have some sort of like security. You can't rely on just one player, but Nick Chubb goes down. Jerome Ford goes off.
Right.
That first game that he played when he had to back him up. And because how big fantasy football is as a part of the game now, everyone picked up Jerome Ford, a.k.a. me, in all fucking leagues. And then you signed Kareem Hunt, and you shared the carries in the backfield. I mean, this guy gave you fucking 3 tutties when he took over. And now he's sharing the
What did Kareem Hunt give the Browns? A whole lot more than 3 tutties.
The last game?
No, over his career.
Over his career.
Yeah, over his career.
But I'm saying, and then now they share the job in the backfield, and then you're not getting much of Jerome Ford.
Which is tough for Kareem Hunt owners who saw that coming and grabbed him.
And picked him up.
Like me.
But the Browns, can we agree? Don't put them on the lock ever again. It's too up and down.
It's too up
It's
and
peaks
down.
and valleys with the Browns.
Well, if we're following the trend, they're going to win next week.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
Do your own bet.
I will not put the Browns in. I will stick with my gut, which was Commanders, that was an awesome game. That one should not be swept under the rug.
Right.
I think
Sam Howell driving down and throwing that touchdown to Dotson with 0 seconds on the clock. I mean, that's some big time play by Sam Howell.
I
And
think
the
I think we just forgot that the Commanders have the Eagles' number.
Yeah.
And I just forgot that last week. Like, they always give them a good game.
But honestly, this is a better Commanders team than I think we've seen in a while. I think they can do some damage. I'm not saying they'll go to the playoffs. It's a very stacked division, but they're going to make some noise, just like they did.
There's also a lot of criticism going around about the Eagles and whether or not they've actually had a quality win yet.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's also a little bit on people's minds as well, whether or not the Eagles are for real, despite the fact that they have, they are 4-0. I mean, they beat the Patriots week 1. Then they had the Vikings. That was like a slugfest back and forth. The Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are atop the, NFC South. But I mean, what does that do?
Who do they have this next week? They have a pretty big game, don't they?
They have the Rams actually. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Should be.
I don't want to.
And then they've got the Jets and the Dolphins. So then they're running into a couple of games there, and then the Commanders again.
I don't want to drive this into the ground, but that is such a media take.
What?
A team is 4-0.
And you're saying, have they had a quality win?
Have they had a quality win?
In the NFL,
You're
they're all quality
fucking
wins.
4-0. Could you say too, like, if a team's not blowing everyone out through week 4, that these are quality wins because they are overcoming adversity in close games? Like, 4-0 is 4-0.
Yeah,
a win is a
win.
fucking win,
Yeah.
even if it's ugly.
Yeah, I mean,
like, why would people
and
question
we've
that?
definitely seen very underperforming teams come back and win games. I mean, a la last year when we were seeing the Colts beat the Jags and the Texans win to, not get the number 1 overall pick and all that. But we see that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's media fodder for sure, but it would be nice to see them kind of, step on the gas a little bit and have a more dominating win against some teams that you think, like, and I do agree with you because it's, we're 4 weeks in here. If it's week 9 and you're, 1 score at the end of the game to a 2-7 team, then that's when I would get a little bit more worried about those closer games and how they finish.
Just got to win by 1.
You're
right?
also getting
You win every game by 1.
You're also getting that question because you have built yourself to be this dominant team, so nothing is good enough for certain people when they
expectations
watch
are
you.
high now.
You've set the bar a lot higher, but I would take what Philly is doing and pulling out wins than like a Dallas Cowboys who's been blowing out everyone, then lose to Arizona 1 week because they just took the week off or
for
whatever.
sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a
I
great
totally
example
agree
about
with that.
a great
Absolutely.
example about like getting your best shot, and you can't apologize for any win whatsoever.
Because really, the two teams that are outperforming everyone right now is Dallas and San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then Dallas drops the game against Arizona, and Arizona gives San Francisco a run for their money. They didn't win that easily.
Yeah.
That was somewhat close.
Joshua Dobbs, how about him?
Joshua Dobbs.
UCLA kid?
I don't think he's UCLA.
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're thinking of DTR.
For the Browns.
Yeah.
That guy did not do so hot.
Not
No,
so
he
hot.
He
didn't.
was
No, he did
he was a
not.
mess back there.
Yep, he was. That
mean,
was
he
his
did-
first NFL
Is
start.
that he knew about 2 hours before.
Yeah.
He's no CJ Stroud.
Yeah. Oh goodness, he didn't do great in his first game.
That's one time every week. I was thinking I was going to get away with it.
Not
Bastard.
today, Junior.
You bastard.
Do you want to talk about Lily?
We should probably talk about Damian Lillard.
We're going to have a lot of NFL. There's a lot that happened in the NBA with Media Day.
Yeah, a lot of
Very dramatic players, I tell
Yeah.
you. There's a lot of shit.
We'll talk about the Damian Lillard trade first. One that went down right after. So we recorded on Tuesday of last week. This happened like Wednesday morning or something like that. Wednesday afternoon. So
Bet settled.
Bet
I
settled.
know the money's coming back my way. I said that the Dame had played his last game as a Blazer, and I think that we thought that I was dead to rights on that. And then Dame traded to Milwaukee for a slew of picks. So DeAndre Ayton comes by way of the
Drew Holiday?
Phoenix Suns. Drew Holiday was traded and then traded again, which I thought was savage. I mean, we knew he was going to get traded again.
He's not going to stick around Portland.
I thought it was a savage move by Portland to send him to Boston, which was, like any team that wanted to get Drew Holiday was to be a Dame stopper because Drew Holiday has had a lot of success guarding Dame. So then they trade Dame to the Bucks to then be the presumptive favorite in the East, and then trade Drew Holiday to Boston as a direct response to them getting Dame. It was like,
I've always criticized Portland, like the management, for making shit basketball moves. This was an incredible move. They won this trade hands down because they've always made bad decisions, from O'Shea to even the last couple of years. They have a good young core built with Scoot and Shaden Sharp and Jeremy Grant, Simons, and all that. They don't need Drew Holiday. That was a great fucking move. And the reason they didn't want to trade with Miami is because they wanted Bam. They got Ayton out of the deal,
which I kind of like. And
it's a great move.
And I don't know if you guys saw the videos of him coming to the team buildings and meeting people. He was ecstatic.
Elated, yeah. He said it felt like a recruiting trip.
Yeah, he was like, I haven't been this excited in a long time.
You never really question Ayton's skill. It's just when they go into the temper tantrum, that's when he starts.
There's something to be said always about that feeling of being valued, right? The feeling of being wanted. Someone wants me, and I don't think that with all of what had been going on with Phoenix that he had that.
That's why he started being a crybaby and not performing. But
now he's going to be kind of big fish, small pond. People in Portland, the city of Portland, are good fans. They'll accept anybody. And he seems like the type of personality that will, take advantage of that, which I hope he does. Enjoy it.
Well, I think give a lot of credit to Portland for waiting this shit out. They were not in a rush. They were going to get theirs. As much as they wanted to give Dame his wish, they waited to get what's right for them, and they did. I think they did an incredible job for what they got in return.
I love Dame, and I hope that he has a ton of success, but there is some comedy in wanting Miami and getting Wisconsin.
Yeah, it is.
Go to another small market.
I mean, I think that so this is as the story goes. When he realized that he was not going to get traded to Miami, he has this meeting with Joe Cronin. And Joe Cronin is basically, I'm just going to find the best deal possible, reiterates that. And Dame's like, listen, if you're not going to trade me to Miami, then I rescind my trade request. And Joe Cronin says, no, we've come too far. We've gone too far.
He's right.
And so that was my first question there. Is he right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what's the alternative? He comes
Dame
back?
Come back. Just rescind the trade request. I mean, Kevin Durant did that with the Nets, right? I mean, but here's also the thing, is that Joe Cronin studied a lot about, he said that he looked at the James Harden trade, he looked at the Ben Simmons trades, all of these types of things, and then the Kevin Durant one. But the thing is that they ended up still trading Kevin Durant, even despite the fact that he had rescinded the trade request. And I think that it took a lot of tough conversation to actually be at this point, it is too far. Because you're saying this now and you want to come back. What happens when we're midway through the season, you actually see Scoot on the court and you see what we're actually trying to do? You're going to get pissed again. Or
you have a bad record.
Yeah.
It's anything.
You get hurt again.
Anything can trigger Damian Lillard to want to be out still, and it's not worth the small thing, the risk of taking back a disgruntled player.
It's like when you break up with a girl and then you go, "Ooh, we should get back together. It was so good when it was good," but it's bad. That once there was a reason why you broke up the first time. That all those great times were awesome and everything, but you kind of just have to go your separate ways and just kind of Marie Kondo it and thank you for everything you did and then move on with it.
Or you break up and you have to live in the same house because it's convenient.
Yeah. But
it never works out.
I thought it took a lot of like it was probably a really tough thing for a guy like Joe Cronin to say, knowing that he was going to be vilified for all of these types of things. But then, within that 10-day period, I guess, like the agent had started talking with the Nets and with the Bucks, and then things had warmed up. The interesting part about this, do you guys hear about that Phoenix had no idea who anyone was involved in the trade? So they were the third team, but they were like a mystery team this whole time. And so they were trying to get Ayton out, but there was like a mystery player that was involved, and so they were like, okay, so Portland was offering theirs down to Houston or to Phoenix. So Phoenix knew what they were going to get from Portland, but they didn't know what they were going to get from the third team. But so because the Bucks GM was like, you can't let anyone know in the league that we're negotiating. So any third team that we eventually send anyone to, you can't tell them that we're the people. So Joe Cronin had to convince the Suns ownership and leadership to take on a third player from a team, a mystery player that they had no idea what they were getting, which turned out to be Grayson Allen.
I don't think at that point it mattered to Phoenix. I think their main thing was to ship Ayton out.
Yeah.
And as long as they keep Booker, Beal, and Durant, it didn't matter what was going on around their team. Like, they had also made a deal. I think Cameron Payne was part of that deal where he goes to Milwaukee. Grayson Allen is a great second-string backup to give.
They got depth.
Booker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Ayton was the main piece. They just wanted him out.
Yeah.
So really, at that point, is like, whatever we need to do.
I think...
And Phoenix could probably deduce who the teams were. So they could probably be like, okay, if we're matching salaries, this, like they probably could have deduced a number of players who it could have been.
I'm just excited to see what Dame does in Milwaukee. I think that it makes Milwaukee a really good team, and honestly, I hope that he's able to get a championship.
Me too.
Will root for Milwaukee in the playoffs if they have success. But I am excited for this new phase of the Portland Trailblazers,
I think
for sure.
Blazer fans should be excited that this isn't O'Shea. This is a Cronin move, and he made the right move.
Yeah.
And they have a very good-looking team.
And we're young,
They're
just like
young.
you said.
Ayton's young. They've been wanting a big man that's not Nurkic, and
Yeah,
they
getting
have
rid
a
of Nurk and
solid
all this
core.
was great.
I think they have a really solid core.
Because Nurk was terrible under the basket. Now you like totally flipped everything.
Yeah.
To where you got a great under the basket guy. Not so good for outside of the paint.
But also just like a dominant big man. I think we talked about this last year when the Embiid stuff was going on. And I said it would be so great to have like a dominant big man that could hold it down for the Blazers, because we haven't had anything like that since LaMarcus probably.
I think ultimately it's the teams that are going to go far in the playoffs. I don't think Portland is that yet, but they are the team that is going to be frisky that you're going to have to worry about, because they're not going to be easy to put away.
It's going to be fun getting tickets for $15 and going and watching.
Yeah, just going and just like checking out a game and all that against like a really crappy opponent.
The
The
Eastern Conference battle between Boston and Milwaukee, though, would be that's money.
Not if emo Jimmy Butler has anything to say about it. I can't believe this. This guy is like thinks that this is his Halloween or his Super Bowl or whatever. He's showing
just
up
a
to
troll.
media day.
He loves the attention.
Help me understand, as a former media member, what is that like? How it's going to look when his image comes up?
Yeah.
At like games.
So like they started out last year by using the one that he had with the cornrows and everything. They made it like a month into the season, and they were just like, no, we're going to go back to the original one or whatever. So like all of the official everything is him looking like that. All of the like
he's a master
so
troll.
much, like all of the intro videos, like all the hype videos, all of like the promotional stuff, stats, the programs.
So I'm sure there's
some official.
Some people in the organization that this really pisses.
Oh
off.
yeah, it absolutely.
Like it ruins their job
for
the day,
because he's standing there and he's got freaking Kyle Lowry and Bam, and they're doing this like big 3 photo, and they just like can't even keep a straight face because he's just like, hold on, let me adjust my emo. It's just
He had the fucking piercings too.
yeah,
he
he
had his
did the
nose
whole
pierced, the
piercings,
studs.
He had the eyebrow pierced as well. It's just
He's
like,
an ultimate troll, and I fucking love
Yeah.
it. He's comedy.
It's
the
incredible.
Biggest joke on that team is Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero releases a butthurt statement about he was asked if he was upset that the Portland deal didn't go through because he was a major part of that, and he goes, "We're not worried about a team like Portland." And it's such a butthurt statement because Portland didn't want him.
Yeah, exactly.
They were going. They're like, "We want Bam."
And it sounds like the team you're on was willing to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they wanted Bam, and they're like, "We'll throw in Tyler Hero. We don't give a shit." Like Cronin was like, "We don't want him," and it like
same fish.
yeah.
Same fish.
I just
We
think
don't
that's
need that.
funny. It's like, dude, you should have just kept your mouth shut. You sound like a crybaby. 'Cause
Yeah.
the team didn't want you.
I did think that he took it in stride initially, though, on like Twitter and such, where he was like, you know, until next year, until the trade deadline, see you then. My name will just get thrown into everything else. But I do think, like, okay, so are we thinking that the top three in the East then will be Miami, Boston, and Milwaukee? I mean, Milwaukee went from like plus 750 to plus 380, and they're tied with Boston now.
I'd go Miami over Philly for sure. I think Philly's a joke.
Yeah, I think.
Well, yeah,
Philly's
because who
gonna
knows?
regress.
Because they have no idea what they're doing with James Harden. That whole thing's a clusterfuck.
I think
That he's calling Daryl Morey a liar and
Yeah.
going to strip clubs and holding up like signs that are on fire that says that Daryl Morey's a liar. I go, wow, like enjoy the naked chicks and just get Daryl Morey out of your head.
I think Boston's gonna be tough, just because you're getting another year under Jason Tatum and Brown. They're always tough. I think Drew Holiday is a huge addition to that. I think he's way better than Marcus Smart. They did get rid of a big man in Rob Williams. And
Yeah, Robert Williams got dealt.
their big guy they're relying on is fucking Al Horford, who's just getting older.
Old.
But I think it's Boston, Milwaukee for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that like Boston seems like a deadline deal team or something like that too, just to align themselves for the playoffs.
I think you can pinpoint the East with Boston, Milwaukee. Who's coming out of the West?
What if Joel Embiid goes to Boston?
Oh,
Gotta
there's
take Boston. That's a tough team.
Let's see, team futures now. Denver is plus 500, Phoenix plus 600, Lakers plus 1,200, Warriors plus 1,300.
The Warriors are always frisky. You can't count them out.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
with
Chris Paul.
he'll get hurt.
Yeah.
He'll get hurt.
But
I
he'll-
guess the reason why Jordan Poole got punched is because he called Draymond Green a really expensive backpack.
Ooh.
That is the
A 30-year-old
The rumor.
backpack or something like that.
I'll probably
Which
punch
is
him
like
in the
really,
face, too.
you think so? That's like really loaded. I didn't know that was like going to be so offensive to someone.
Well, think about how everyone talks about Draymond Green, how he rides the coattails of Clay and Steph. He's been hearing that his entire career.
Right. But that's like more offensive than like
But
Yo Mama.
I mean, this isn't Wilmer Valderrama's show.
Valderrama.
Valderramas.
I think it's different
Your
hearing
mother
that
is
from
so fat.
Skip Bayless or fucking media people like you, but to hear that from your own teammate, you don't think you would want to sock him in the face too?
Yeah. And you know that's not where it started. He's been hearing him chirp at him and say shit, and that, you know, this was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right. I guess like when I'm thinking about the moment that he got punched, how would you weave "you're an expensive backpack" into your insult while you're doing like team drills? But whatever. I'm sure they were talking about other stuff too
Yeah.
in that moment.
Probably started with a yo mama.
Your mother is so fat.
Yeah, that's imagine that as a comeback from Draymond Green after getting a serious insult. He goes, "Yo, mama."
I think it would diffuse the situation, honestly.
I do think so. Right up there with just like taking your clothes off.
Look at
and
us
just gonna,
talking basketball and
basketball.
It's
October.
media day. Anthony Davis
first
said
day of
his goal
baseball
is
playoffs. Nobody
his goal
cares.
is to play all 82 games in the season, and then everyone started laughing.
Oh, well, here is LeBron James was saying how he tore the whole tendon in his foot, but then like rehabbed it. But like scientifically or medically, if you actually did that, the only way that it would repair itself is for surgery.
We
So
get it. You hate LeBron.
he's a liar.
We get it.
He's a liar.
He is a liar. That's
He's a liar.
He's
And he never can.
He's a capper.
He's doing really good.
He's LeCapping.
Have you been tracking his bets? His NFL bets. He's like 12-2 this year.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He failed big time last week.
Did he? Okay, well, up until this past week, he was like
took
12
the
and 2.
Browns as
Okay.
one of his bets. He took Cincinnati as another one of his bets. He was
Okay,
was
well, he had been
50%
12-2.
last week.
All right.
Well, speaking of locks.
And who are we
Speaking of
to
losing,
call people out on losing bets? Okay.
well, that brings us straight into our locks of the week.
Again, Peter, go over the definition of a lock, please.
The definition of a lock: it is a pick that is certain to win.
Try again.
A pick that you will ignore all of the red flags and go with anyways. That's probably more correct.
Okay, I'm ready for my lock.
Okay, you go for it.
Okay, I am going to take the Packers money line over the Raiders.
Packers money line over the Raiders.
It's Monday night.
The Monday game. All right. Packers money line. That puts us at plus 158.
Yeah.
Wait,
So-
what's yours?
I have not selected
How are
mine
we
yet.
at plus 158?
Minus 218, minus 130. A two-pick parlay puts us at plus 158. According to the machine.
What's the other pick?
I haven't picked
Yours.
Oh, no, I'm not 100%. Take that off.
yet. Oh.
Why'd you get so mad about the
I don't know.
minus 200 then? So you're not going to let us win
You're
money?
not going to do it?
You guys are making me go back and forth.
Oh, my God.
Let's go with your heart. What's in your plums? Tell me.
Is there a chance that the Rams could ruin Philly and LA?
No. Do
Not
you know
for
what
this
a
bet.
lock is?
Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I've heard of him. Washed up.
Okay. You're fucking absurd.
I'm going to take the Ravens I'm going to take Ravens money line because I do still think that this could potentially be a field goal game.
Really?
It's going to be low scoring, I feel like. So it'll be one of
No
those
Kenny
types.
Pick.
No Kenny Pickett. Yeah. So that is why I'm going to go money line minus 198. So it still falls within the parameters. 2 picks now at plus 166.
So you have Packers money line and you have Baltimore money line, and
Correct.
that's sitting at plus 166.
166.
Okay, I'm between two.
Okay. Chicks at the same time?
And I'm thinking of moving away from money line because one's minus 230 and one's minus 218. So do I take Philly minus 4 or Buffalo minus 5.5?
Feel like you're going to get everyone's going to give you your best shot against the Bills, especially what they did against the Dolphins. So I would be more inclined to lean with the Eagles.
But
Do I
it's
take
your choice.
Philly minus 4 or money line? What are the odds difference there?
So at minus 218, that puts us at plus 288. $30 pays 116. At minus 4, that takes us at plus 404. $30 pays 151.20.
$30 difference. We got to see green. I got to take a money line. We got to just get a win under our belt.
All right, $30 pays 116.52. Again, our locks of the week. Packers money line over the Raiders -130. The Ravens money line -198 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then the Eagles -218 money line over the Rams. $30 pays 116 plus 288 odds.
Gosh, we're getting soft, but we
need to get win's a win.
We need a win. Then
We
we'll
gotta
go
get
back
a-
to
We
spreads.
got to get a win. We're getting soft.
We're gonna go through the whole
getting
season
soft.
0-17.
I remember the first week. Don't you want to win some fucking money?
All right,
we
$30.
each get
pays.
$200.
We suck at betting.
Now it says that I've reached my daily play limit. That is not true.
You
What
are
are you gambling
sick,
on?
Peter.
I'm not. I haven't
You are
bet
sick.
anything today.
You need to seek help.
I haven't bet anything today. Whatever. We'll resolve this. Okay, there it goes. Bet placed. Gambling. Give me my $20.
Trembling.
Then 116. When it wins, rides
Then
into
we'll
week
ride.
6.
Yes.
Yes,
The
we have
116
established that.
wins 800. 800 wins 3,000.
I do feel pretty good about these.
Yeah,
I do
we've
feel pretty
said
good
that
about it.
every week. Should have took the Commanders.
Shoulda.
Okay, so who am I going to say is really going to suck this week so then they would be good? Real quick.
Well, while you're looking that up, I was 3-0 in fantasy this week. That's the
Congratulations.
One
Yes.
silver lining.
Did you guys see how many points Lowe scored?
How much?
Let's not blow up Lauren that much, but yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was bad. She
many?
scored 46 points.
Oh, complete lineup.
Total.
Complete lineup.
Total lineup.
That's bad
Yeah.
for how high scoring our league is.
Yeah.
She was at 30-something before Monday
Night Football.
I scored 84 in the Jimmy's League, and I thought that was bad.
Yeah. Okay, so let me
Ours
break,
is so high scoring. Hers is bad.
let me break this down. She had Joe Burrow, 4.7 points.
Matthew, this is Peter blowing up your girl.
This is
It's
not.
me.
No, I was actually texting. I was texting Lauren Matthew, and I was saying like tough break. I was like, I haven't
Tough cookie, huh?
She had Tyreek Hill, 10.2 points. T. Higgins, 3.9 points. Dalvin Cook, 2.8. Breece Hall, 9.9. George Kittle, and they won 35-16. He had 1.9 points.
Honestly, at that
Brutal.
point, it's kind of impressive.
Yeah, at that point, because then she had Mari Cooper 2.6, Sky Moore 1.9, Justin Tucker 4 points, San Francisco 5 points, all in 46.9 points.
Wow.
It was
Playing
so bad, and it was like impressively bad, and I'm so sorry because I had a really bad week. And I
Yeah.
actually
playing
won, so.
two running backs from the same team is ballsy.
Yeah.
Also, she got sniped again because she said last weekend she had lost faith in Joe Burrow and she put him in again and he let her down.
There he was.
Once again.
Meanwhile, Khalil Herbert right there, 22.2 points on the bench.
It's half of her total.
And Justin Ferguson, right? The tight end for Dallas.
Yes.
Yeah, he had 15 points. So, sorry,
I
Lo.
was hoping that I had a feeling I was going to win, but I didn't want to win against someone who's not giving a shit about their lineup. And A-Town had not made some changes from like the previous weeks. But I was watching it and I'm like, I really hope he tries so I can feel validated a win. And he did. He took out Deshaun Watson and put in Daniel Jones. And
He put in Daniel Jones, huh?
it's his only backup quarterback. But I'm brutal.
Baruto.
Yeah, after this, we're going to have to all look at the Jimmy's League. I need help.
Help.
Is that a PPR league?
Yes. With 2 flexes, and I scored 86 points. So.
2 flexes?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
I scored 95 in
I mean, we have
non-PPR.
two flexes in ours. It's still.
Ours is so high scoring that if you score under 100, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good.
We've got a lot of praying to do, boys.
Yep. Well, clear eyes.
Full hearts.
Can't lose.